question. I'm hearing, because of the coronavirus discussion, about mandatory vaccination. And I guess over the years, I've heard lots of negative things about vaccinations and some of the intentions behind them, which I can't say that I know they're true or not true, but I just was wondering if you could speak, because I'm not sure that I feel safe with the vaccination, and of course I may not be safe without the vaccination as well. So can you
Yes.
shed a little light on that, please?
We can, and we're the Arcturian Collective, and we're very pleased to bring this transmission forward for all of those who are in a very similar situation, because we see a crossroads going on between your non-physical and physical experiences, especially where your consciousness has arrived and where your bodies are still holding some fear or resistance to the unknown. We want to speak to the history of what's happened with vaccines on your planet first. And we want to put it in a very similar light to the previous question about government agencies, because everything that exists in physical on your planet is a manifestation of your consciousness. Source energy is always responding to your physical needs, but it is matching exactly what your consciousness perceives. We will give this analogy first, and then we will relate it back to vaccines. As a human collective, you have manifested fast food restaurants. And this was because of a perceived lack of time. In your inability to accomplish as much as you desired, you wished for ways to cut corners. And in that desire, a new manifestation was born, where you could nourish yourself with a meal very quickly without having to prepare it. Now, if your consciousness would have also been aligned with longevity and health in the purest form, this manifestation would have looked quite differently than what it is today, or how it has shown up on the planet. And vaccines show up in the same light. It was a physically focused manifestation and model of what you believed was needed in order to keep yourselves healthy. But at the same time, we don't put it in a sense of judgment that you weren't smart enough to know what was best for you. You were responding to a myriad of outside teachings and beliefs, even some that were born within you and coded within your DNA from a past lineage of beliefs from your parents and generations before them. So if we look at a vaccine, we don't look at it as one thing. We actually see it as a manifestation of a myriad of desires coming together as one. A desire for monetary currency, a desire for health, a desire for safety. But there's also a common theme that relates to vaccines that we want to explain, not to sway you in any way, but to help you understand where you're headed as a human collective. In most areas of your Earth experience, even including your own bodies, there's been a hybridization away from purity and original state. Genetics are a big focus for us and many of you in this area. Your genetics have been tampered with, and this has suppressed many of you from utilizing gifts and abilities and your entire technology in the way it was always designed. Much of this continues to go on today, and of course it is connected to a malevolent consciousness, reptilian in nature, that designs these different physical manifestations in concert with you, co-creates them by leading your mind into certain scenarios because it needs you to be in a weakened state. So much of what is out there that has caused you to believe that you need a vaccine to keep you safe was implanted and manipulated by a consciousness that also needs to stay safe. So safety is the overall issue that we must address and that we know you are concerned about in regards to this topic. Going back to the original message about government in their weakened position and attempting to hold on in resistance to something that is transitioning applies to what you're seeing take place on your planet. There are a variety of interactions and intentions that are focused at a vaccine model that continues to perpetuate that is not in your best interest. As a matter of fact, we think it matches much of what's gone on within Gaia's own soils as they've been hybridized away from their purest state. Now, when we look at a vaccine for a virus, for example, the notion that something outside of you is keeping you safe is a part of the evolution process that is underway in all areas. But for health and longevity to actually be present, it could never be subject to something outside of it, and especially not natural to the earth. Because you were designed to connect not only physically to everything that was seated here within nature, but also vibrationally. And this is what has been most disturbed. So we see vaccines causing a pattern within you that is a communication signaling the body in unnatural responses, which actually weakens it and makes you more susceptible to illness than what this proposed viral pandemic could ever create. Knowing that you have to make difficult decisions, especially in regards to work and family, it is always your choice in how you interact with things on your planet. We are always quick to mention that if you are to take a pharmaceutical drug, for example, you are the determining factor as to how those toxins interact with your structure. If you are in full belief that they are supporting and helping you, then they may take on the effect of nature in your physical body. We say this, but we have rarely ever seen it. The reason is that much faith and trust in something that comes from outside of you isn't natural to the human mind. So while you are walking a difficult transition, it is prudent to test the waters in all areas. But if you choose to walk the path of the vaccine, we suggest strengthening the overall body in all areas as well. Because unless your body can sustain its natural patterns and abilities, it cannot detoxify itself from the discordant or malevolent ones that are still being forced upon you. We believe that much of what's happening in this realm is going to come to pass as you walk the next several linear years into the 2020s. And the reason that we say this is it's no longer sustainable. There are a mass number of humans who do not believe that this is the path of highest health. But you've come to meet exactly what has been forced upon you with this new belief at a time on your planet when the physical embodiment of it is so necessary. So as this continues to play out, we see positive potentials aligning with you to walk a path of pure health beyond where it has been forced in more chemical frequencies.